these recordings? All right. Good afternoon. It's Thursday, December 4th. It's just after 4 o'clock p.m. And this is an open door. We love that you found us. And this is one of our regularly scheduled classes. I'm Amy Heibel, and we are going through the Course in Miracles, the text, and we're looking at it from a non-dual standpoint. This class is called, or this gathering, it's not really a class. Everybody here is a teacher. So it's called Finding the Advaita, or the Non-Dual in A Course in Miracles. So know yourself welcome. Let's see, I'm going to put in the chat what page we're on. We're on page 281, and we're going to start with paragraph 10. So you can get yourselves ready for that. I have several folks that are willing to read today, so we'll go through and we'll use the same format that we've been using, where each person reads a paragraph, and then we enter into a dialogue about it if we want. If there's nothing that needs to be said, we can move on. But we'll begin by saying hello and inviting you to just relax. And I am so happy to be here. Letting the day go, just relaxing where you are. And opening to whatever arises. And just inviting the Holy Spirit, which is the bridge, the connector, the alive light that is within each and every one of us, to shine brightly and to inform us as we meet in this gathering. It's all one. We are all one. Creating infinite experience in the absolute oneness. And so the impulse comes to gather, and the quality of how we are together, how we talk, how we share, how we listen. This is our gift to the world. The purpose of every gathering is discovered in the gathering, but it has common elements. It's to recognize beauty, and truth and beauty are the same. And it's to love what is beautiful, and truth and love are the same. We allow conversation to rise out of every particle. All of it is alive. Know you are welcome to this empty table, at this empty table. It is a cleared place where something new can happen. When we take the hands of someone we love, what do those hands become? Let us take each other's hands through time and space and join together. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to perhaps finish this chapter, chapter 7, which is called The Extension of the Kingdom. In the last meeting, one of the things that we talked about was that the ego survives as an idea. It isn't real. It's just an idea of separation, an idea that the absolute source, oneness, isn't present in every single thing. And it's an idea that was agreed to through the oneness, by the oneness, with the oneness, as a way to experience something that oneness can't experience unless it hides itself from itself. So that is what this experience is. And that's how the ego survives. That's how the ego continues to replicate itself, moment by moment by moment, in this idea of separation. And the egoic idea is a very complicated thought system. And it does a darn good job of convincing the limited mind that that's all there is. So let's start with paragraph 10. And I'm going to ask Chuck if he will read paragraph 10 for us, because that just shines a light on this whole thing.
I will do that.
Thank you, Chuck.
The ego wants no part of truth because the truth is that it is not true. The truth is total and untrue cannot exist. Commitment to either must be total because they cannot exist in your mind without splitting it. If they cannot coexist in peace, and if you want peace, you must give up the idea of conflict entirely for all time. This requires vigilance only as long as you do not recognize what is true. While you believe that two totally contradictory thought systems have truth, your need for vigilance is apparent. Your mind is dividing its allegiance between two kingdoms, and you are totally committed to neither.
Oh,
Wow.
I put where we are in the chat. So that's a really great definition of the split mind, right? It's a
Yeah.
great definition of the split mind. And the split mind, I just want to say, it doesn't mean a schizophrenic mind or an unhealthy mind or a mind that is insane. It does not mean that. It does kind of mean that, but it's only insane because it's not seeing the oneness in everything. The only insanity is believing in separation, right? But we talked about this in the last meeting, about when vigilance is required. And vigilance is required only as long as you have a foot in both camps. Because once you truly realize that everything is one and nothing is separate, you are in the flow. And you just have to stay in that flow, which you already are in and cannot leave. Once you realize that what you are is the one, the absolute, then there's nothing to be vigilant for at all. So, Carol, you come to the head of the table. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi,
Hey.
everyone. Um, yeah, the split mind is absolutely the most incredible gift because without the split mind, there would not be any knowing or discernment or experience or anything. It's what allows for the eventual recognition of truth. And the beautiful thing about this course is that, and I think a lot of progressive wisdom teachings is just the presenting to the part of itself that is at a place where it recognizes love as something that will lash out and defend you, that needs to lash out and defend.
I'm not sure I understand that. Would you say that again?
Yeah, well, it seems like, in a lot of the progressive teachings where it'd be like, yes, God is almighty and will, if anything horrible is done, God will be merciless and take action and will not, will make sure that goodness is protected. And so a lot of people, especially in Christianity, would go, yes, only a loving God would take wrath out on someone that does something evil. So they see a loving God as something that would punish
Yeah.
those.
Do you think that's progressive, or would you call that dualistic?
No, it's dualistic. But
Yeah.
what I mean by progressive is a lot, I think most of the wisdom teachings are teaching for wherever people are at,
Yeah.
so to speak. So it's because people, would go, oh, yes, that's right. I mean, it's still today, right? Oh, all of, you know, God will take its wrath because God is going to protect goodness, because they believe that there isn't goodness. They believe in the possibility of anything but godness. So they see, oh, yeah, well, that person didn't, that person or that situation is in a horrible place because they didn't behave properly. And that's what happens. Punishment happens.
Mm-hmm.
So God becomes scary.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is it's not the truth, but it's the way that it's gently bringing the confused aspect of the oneness up. It's gently bringing it along until it recognizes, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
so,
this paragraph says your commitment has to be total. Your commitment to the recognition of the absolute oneness has to be total.
yes, and
And
that
that's
means
pretty
getting
clear.
past all of that.
Yep.
It means recognizing that anything other than it is all total and it is all oneness, regardless of how the body mind perceives it,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
is
Yep.
what it is. And um, it's just the course is written in such a way that, there's little elements of, ooh, it's not, you're not this, or it can seem a little bit dualistic because
Okay.
that's the way to love something that thinks love will protect it by killing off anything that
Yeah.
might be. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. A course does
Okay.
not want to argue with your ego. It's not going to do that.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
will never do that. It flies under the
No.
radar of the ego.
Yeah,
So yeah. Well, thank you, Carol. Thank you. Are you complete?
I'm complete.
Okay. Lonnie, you're up next.
I guess I am. I'm going to just say this. Um, because I'm wanting not to, and it keeps coming at me. I'm just really struck at how easy it is for human beings to give the divine human characteristics
Yes.
and to think that somehow our interpretation of what is through our skewed lenses um, and explanations for them, for what is. I'm just really struck by that. When the learning, the knowing is allowing, is opening to the divine to be, to allow it to come through this being. And so it's more allowing the divine, not even allowing, but opening to what already is. And if that energy of the divine that expresses, say, Aslani.
Yes.
And as long as I give the divine human characteristics, I can push back against it.
Yeah. Yep. That's a great point. Thank you. Thank you. Chuck.
Just real quick, it struck me right away that the podcast we watched before this last one with Richard Rohr and Oprah, if I remember correctly, he used those words that she just used as he saw as the major problem with the church, the reward punishment system that was developed on that. It just hit me that those words were used in that last podcast with him. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, what a waste of 2000 years in a way. I know that's not true, but it is actually it's more than that because the Old Testament is very much about reward and punishment. But yeah, thank you, Chuck. Okay, we're on
But in
paragraph.
the beginning, there was the word. There was not the written word. It was the word that became flesh, which we became the expression of. So everybody walking around toting that little black book and waving it in my face all the time, that's man's interpretation of what he doesn't know and couldn't
Yes,
possibly know other than through the filters he's been taught through.
that's right.
We are the word.
That's right. That's right. I was looking for another quote, which I'll read some other time, but thank you. Yeah, I think we're all getting more and more comfortable being in human form, but looking at the absolute as as immaterial. It's not material. It is beyond our imagination because this is what we're seeing through. This is the headset we have. So, Mel, you're up next to read paragraph 11. And it's just going to continue with what we were just talking about.
All right. Your identification with the kingdom is totally beyond question, except by you when you are thinking insanely. What you are is not established by your perception and is not influenced by it at all. All perceived problems in identification at any level are not problems of fact, but they are problems in understanding, because they mean that you perceive what you can understand as up to you to decide.
Ah,
Yeah,
critical, right there.
because they mean that you perceive what you can understand as up to you to decide. Yeah, I'll repeat that.
Yeah. Get out of your own way.
Gosh,
Resign now as your own teacher. I love that. That's one of my favorite things. Thank you, Mel. Yeah, keep going.
the ego believes this totally, being fully committed to it, but it is not true. The ego is therefore totally committed to untruth, perceiving in total contradiction to the perception of the Holy Spirit and to the knowledge of God.
Thank you. One of the things I love about the Circle of Atonement edition is it shows where the underlines are. It shows where Helen underlined. And she underlined, you are thinking insanely. Underlined, you are thinking insanely. And what you are is underlined not established by your perception and is not underlined not influenced by it at all, right? All perceived problems, underlined all perceived problems in identification at any level, underlined any level, are not problems of fact, underlined not problems of fact. It's great. I mean, it's all right here. And also underlined, it's not up to you to decide. It's not up to you to decide. And the ego says, well, WTF, what's my purpose then? Of course it's up to me to decide. I mean, who else is going to decide? Are you going to decide? And the ego will just go on in its indignant aspirations, right? And it will tell you that it's weak for you to say that it's not up to you to decide, right? Mm. Livy, you're at the head of the table.
And you probably know what I'm going to say, but
I don't know. Maybe you got it from one of your cats. I don't know. Maybe she whispered it to you in your ear, or he did.
I went and hit the button with, and it's as up to you to decide. As so many of y'all have been with me on this journey this year of really redefining what truth is and what my role is, and letting go of the perceived idea that I'm the one in the family that is responsible for taking care of everyone else in the family. Telling two family members, no, you can't live with me. That was extraordinarily difficult. Having two people in pain calling and asking if they can live with me, and to say no to them was painful. It was painful. And so it's been when I shared earlier about taking the prayer, please heal her fear-based thoughts. And for me, it's more like putting a salve on myself, by saying that, sort of the truth of what I am and what she is, and we are one. And by saying that, it's kind of putting a salve on myself. And it's been interesting, how I can be on this meeting and I can be feeling the oneness and the love, and then I'll get a call from a family member in distress, and they're looking to me to somehow relieve their distress. Mm-hmm. And allowing people to have their experience without thinking it needs to be different it's just, this is an interesting journey that I'm very, very grateful that I have y'all to listen to, and I'm so grateful for what you said, that it's the repetitiveness of it that I need, that helps me just stay with that, Yep. And I'm, interestingly enough, I'm able to do it more with the animal kingdom, because that's more on energy, than anything else. And I seem to be more conscious of my energy when I'm around the, the birds of the air and those of the, and so I can't say enough how much I appreciate everyone's guidance and patience as I go through grief, and recognize that it's not something to get through, that it's just a part of the flow. It's just the part of the flow. And for me to remember that the flow, that when I speak with my niece, since she's 3 hours away, and if there's distress, it's still a flow. That when we hang up, I don't need to stay stuck. I can still flow and know that she's going to be okay.
Yep.
And that she's in the flow. And so anyway, thank you so much. But yeah, I saw that, and for you to decide, and it was like it was given to me to decide by my family for decades. I can be free of that now.
It's a weight lifted off you that you don't even know you have, right? It's just a big weight. Yeah. Thank you. And we appreciate your words of wisdom, Livy. All right. All right. No, Libby, you're up to read. Did you just read? Yeah, you're up to read. You're
Okay.
up to read
All right.
12.
So 12. You can be perceived with meaning only by the Holy Spirit because your being is the knowledge of God. Any belief,
Libby,
yes,
I'm going to do this with everybody now. I'm going to ask that you read slowly, and when you see a word that's underlined, emphasize it.
okay.
Would you do that? Thank you.
Yes. Now there aren't, hang on just a second. Just a minute, sweetheart. Hold on. Okay. Um, yeah, he wants food and he wants it now. Okay. I actually don't see.
Yeah, my underlining is very faint.
It's
Oh, I
very
see it
light. It's
now.
very
Yes,
light.
very
Yes,
light.
that's why I
Okay,
said go slowly. It's very light.
I gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. You can be perceived with meaning only by the Holy Spirit because your being is the knowledge of God. Any belief which you accept, which is apart from this, will obscure God's voice in you and will therefore obscure God to you. Unless you perceive his creation truly, you cannot know the Creator because God and his creation are not separate. The oneness of the Creator and the creation is your wholeness, your sanity, and your limitless power. This limitless power is God's gift to you because it is what you are. If you dissociate your mind from it, you are perceiving the most powerful force in the universe of thought as if it were weak. But because you do not believe you are part of it.
If
Wow.
that's not a statement of unity consciousness, I don't know what is. Thank you. That was great, Libby. That is absolutely, unequivocally oneness. That is a statement of oneness. It's saying you are God. You are God's being. And of course, is really clear about this. At the same time that it says you are as God created you, or you are God, it asks you to remember that God created all, that you, your limited mind, did not create itself. And even you, as an extension of the one, did not create the one. So it's really asking you to look at your wholeness as part of a larger whole that was generated by a single absolute intelligence. And intelligence isn't even the right word, but by a single absolute that predated any of its extensions. And that's using words predated, blah, blah, blah. There is a single unified unity that has created many of infinite expressions of itself. And those expressions did not create the one. They contain the one, they are in the one, they are as the one and of the one and with the one. But the oneness itself is the primordial thought. It's the primordial container, right? That's Brahman, right? That's the Brahman. That's the absolute. Sandra.
Thank you, Amy. You just explained so perfectly a question that I had for decades. Thank you.
Yeah.
When I first had my first awakening experience, I heard a voice. And here's what the voice said. Because well, let me just back up. I had all of a sudden understood that I was like Jesus, that I had the same DNA, that I was the same, that he wasn't something special. But the voice that I heard said, I am more than you. And I always wondered what that meant. And you just explained it so beautifully. I'm glad this is being recorded because I want to listen to that again.
Mhm.
Because I am more than you. I mean, when the non-dual teachings kept saying I am the same as I am, but I am more than you is like my foundational touchstone of the words that were spoken to me.
Yeah, and this is really delicate.
It
Because
is.
it's very
It is.
delicate because the extension is the one. There is
Yes.
no separation. It is the one. There is only the one. That is all there is, and that is what we are. But this is where the Course says that, and it's the, as above, so below, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right?
Yes.
You know,
And I knew it was true. I just didn't fully understand it.
yeah.
I
We
knew
have,
it was true. I've always known it's true,
yeah.
no matter what anybody says or tries to explain. But the way you just explained it did not. You you explained it as not separate, but still more, and that's what resonated with me. And I really get it. So thank you for that.
Yeah. There is only ultimate reality, and that is the one. That's all there is the ultimate reality of one, the absolute indivisible expressing itself in these apparently separate extensions of consciousness, whether it's represented in a body or not in a body or whatever. We have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time here because it is never not one. Never. And yet its expression as in a unique form of oneness appears beautiful and different and separate. It's just the uniqueness of the one having its expression in infinite ways. But the ultimate reality is only the one, always only the one, right? And so that's how we, as you say so often, Sandra, we can so enjoy the apparent uniqueness and individuality. It's amazing. And yet always know that we are never not the one itself. We are never not that. So it is completely, totally safe all the time. It is never not safe. It is never divided, ever. And it is never not infinite and immortal and eternal. And Carol, you're up next. Thank you.
Yeah, that was just an awesome conversation, you two. Um, it's the whole, it seems like the whole time and space concept is just in what infinite, all that is, all potential does not seem to experience itself in completeness simultaneously, because this is a realm, it's an experience of being separate, incomplete. But that's just the experience that happens when time and space are the filters. It's like the book that exists. It's already written. All possibilities are contained within. And yet, it's read one page at a time. That one page is experienced only, not the whole book at once. And
in this experience, yes, that is true.
yeah, in this experience. And that's all we can speak of because that's all that's known. All that's known, all that's experienced is filtered through time and space, which is why, it's like, well, this can't be love. Well, because the entirety, the wholeness isn't being experienced at one time. It's the entirety is being experienced in a realm of separation by time and space.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Lonnie says, expression in individuation does not have to mean separation. The individuating wave rising in expression out of the oneness of the ocean. We get to individuate in the oneness of the flow of being. Yeah, exactly. And words can touch it but can't really, yeah, yeah. And who knows that there aren't realms where time is experienced differently. We know that that's possible because people do have the experience of it. And I think that's increasing more and more and more as we open to these teachings. So thank you. And May is up next to read. Where are we, May? Paragraph 13.
Yeah. Perceived without your part in it, God's creation is perceived as weak. And those who see themselves as weakened do attack. The attack must be blind, because there is nothing to attack. Therefore, they make up images, perceive them as unworthy, and attack them for their unworthiness. This is all that the world of the ego is. Nothing. It has no meaning. It does not exist. Do not try to understand it, because if you do, you are believing that it can be understood, and therefore is capable of being appreciated and loved. This would justify it, but it cannot be justified. You cannot make the meaningless meaningful. This can only be an insane attempt.
That is a kick in the pants, right?
Yeah.
That is a kick in the pants. That's Indigoism. That's the Indigo truth. It is what it is. Accept it. Be with it. Live it. You can rage against it if that's what you choose to do, but ultimately it is what it is.
Yeah. It's like the power of creation is kind of coming to mind, where it's creation is infinitely extending, and by our part in it as individuations aligning to the truth of the oneness, that becomes infinitely more powerful. It's this primordial soup with a chef. Like we're not fighting against it, we're aligning to it, and in that alignment, like the creative power becomes much more like the constant enfoldment and like reflexivity of this, like we become the lighthouse for, and it extends in ways that we can't even perceive, but we know by just being it that it's happening. It's like it's awesome. Yeah.
I think I think I just want to say one thing about what you said, which was great. Um, but it is important to keep in mind that whether we consciously align or not, we are aligned, right? There's no it the absolute doesn't depend upon our aligning to it in order to be itself, right? It's only in the dream that it seems that we cannot align, but it's that's an insane thought. And insanity itself does not exist, except in the dream, right? So there's no insanity at all, except in the dream, right? It's it's all the absolute. And even if you try to understand, sometimes Cindy will take us through in some of her presentations, what what things mean for her or how she moves through her understanding of situations. And I'm inviting Cindy to come on if she wants to, if she's listening to us, because I don't want to speak for her. But even to do that, to try to understand, well, this is what my mother did, or this is what my father did, or I wasn't loved, as Regis explained so beautifully in Coffee With. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's not a wasted effort to try to understand. It's what the mind does, and it's fine to do that. Just be sure you know you're walking and chewing gum at the same time. You're moved, there's no personal thought. There's no personal mind. The universe is moving to understand. The thoughts are dropping into the oneness to try to understand. Go with the flow, but it doesn't mean that there's really anything to understand, actually. Right? Right. So if it moves you to do that, that's all right. But keep in mind that even as we're doing that, it's still a story. Right. Cindy, got your hand raised. And Carol, I don't know if your hand is still raised to say something or not, but okay. All right. Cindy, you got it.
All right. Well, it was just because you invited me to speak.
I was
And
trying to test you to see if you were listening.
I guess I passed. I passed the test. Thank you, Lord. Um, I've been, the best. Here's what's going on. I got triggered. A number of events, three very independently separate events, all happened between Friday and Monday that created stories, you know, with a potential guy, with my mother, with, a member of this community. And they all seem to be real. They all seem to be an invitation for me to, and I have been interacting with these others. I've been making decisions and holding spaces and making statements as if this character is being affected and has to make decisions and hold the space. And no less than 100 times a day, I'm remembering the teaching that everything in the world is an opportunity for me to know the truth of who I am, that it's a projection, that it's a projection, that it's a projection. And so this very conscious decision to use everything, which I am noticing is becoming more difficult, not, it's becoming more uncomfortable. The more that gets uncovered, like deeper layers are being exposed and they're really uncomfortable. Um, But if the truth is true, then nothing in the world can hurt me. So standing still and allowing myself to feel the pain in the world appears to be what I'm being asked to do anyway. So I'm becoming more involved in the world. I'm speaking more. I am becoming less, I had to hibernate for X number of years or whatever. I'm being told you're not hibernating anymore. So it feels like I'm stepping more into the fire, and it's pressing on the places in me that thinks the world is dangerous, and I'm allowing myself to feel it without defending myself from, if that makes sense. So
It does make sense, and it really aligns with Carol. I wish you had been there for this discussion with Natalie Sudman. Um, this is a near-death experience that we talked about a little bit earlier, in which she finds herself on this dais, and she's communicating to these beings all of her experience in the human form. And she's giving them these packets of downloads, which they are really appreciating because that's what she was here to do, was to have the experience and then share the experience. And so that's all, that's why we have to do both. It's both and. We're having the experience because the absolute infinite loves the experience of the experience. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, right? And yet at the same time, we have to keep in mind that it does not exist. Don't try to understand it, because if you do, you're believing that it can be understood and therefore is capable of being appreciated and loved. So it's have the experience, but don't go down the rabbit hole with it.
yeah. So the one thing that I want to add over and over, as uncomfortable as these last X number of days have been, the decision to be fully present for these different circumstances, and then to sit quietly and let the pain burn. I haven't attempted to use the thinking mind to figure out what to do next. As at some point something opens and I just do something next. So
Beautiful.
I wouldn't state I'm trying to understand it.
That's beautifully described. You're so good at this, Cindy. That's beautifully described. It's almost like you're
Invitations.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. So you invited me to speak. I feel complete. I got shivers. There's a chill. So thank you. There's a chill. So if you want to know what's going on right now, it's very interesting. There's a chill and there's also like a hot flash happening in the body at the same time. So something just got released. The current is my mother has a little, got diagnosed with cancer in her ear. And so that's the newest family dynamic. It will be taken care of, but it's interesting to see, oh, is there fear of cancer here that I get to play with now?
So exciting.
It's,
Really exciting.
well, it's an opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What you said that really caught me was you're having the experience, but you're not looking to the thinking mind to tell you what to do next. That is the knife edge right there, right? That's the knife edge. Allowing the experience, and then as John Klein says, Carol, you know this, being listening. So you're being in the experience, and then you're in that pause, waiting to see what comes up next. And whatever comes up next is what you move toward. You're being moved.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Love
Sam,
us. I think Carol's hand is really up again. And I'm here. I'm just moving and I don't want to distract everybody. I'm getting my steps in.
okay. Carol, what you got?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, Cindy. What you were talking about saying, and just recognizing the experience of not knowing what to do or how to feel, or should I be trying to sort all this out? And I mean, it's all just part of the process. And I think eventually the part of the mind, part of the thinking mind just isn't there anymore because it's just really not necessary anymore for the most part. In and but it seems to have to go through that, or that's the experience it's had. But it's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Is just to, it feels like insanity in a way. It feels like you're losing your mind because in some ways it is. Part
Wow.
of that illusion is just dissipating. It was never there anyway, but it's dissipating in the dream. And
Yeah.
you know you're what this is. And it's so bizarre, but it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, a course would say that's seeing with the Holy Spirit. So it's the recognition of the oneness is becoming more and more established in your experience. It's the oneness. It's not the recognition. It is the knowing, the oneness that becomes more and more established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like everything does seem to hone down in a way, in every single respect. And when you said that, Amy, it just, yeah, that was, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Livy has her hand up, but Carol, do you want to read? Are you open to reading? I'm not.
Sure, sure. Which paragraph is this?
On paragraph 14.
Sure. Okay. Allowing insanity to enter your mind means that you have not judged sanity as wholly desirable. If you want something else, you will make something else. But because it is something else, it will attack your thought system and divide your allegiance. You cannot create in this divided state, and you must be vigilant against this divided state because only peace can be extended. Your divided mind is blocking the extension of the kingdom, and its extension is your joy.
Okay, I want to just say something quickly about that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carol. So allowing the idea of two-ness, of separation into your mind means that you have not judged oneness, which is sanity, as wholly, and that term whole is, I look at that in the way that Lonnie looks at it. It's whole, holy, whole, desirable. Wholeness, oneness is not your desired. You don't want to see oneness. It's not your desire to see it, right? And so if you want something else, you will make something else. And because you make something else, it will come back at you, right? It will come back at you because you're seeing it as separate, right? So, but then it says you cannot create in this divided state. And this leads to us. What is creation? What is creation? Creation happens only through extension of what you already are, the oneness. It happens only through the extension of the oneness. Now, does that mean only if you extend love in the way that we normally think of love? No. That extension means extending your authenticity as the oneness, which is Livy saying, extending her authentic saying, no, it does not feel right for you to come and live with me. I know because I know I am one. I know I am whole and never in danger. I extend that wholeness to you, that you are one, you are whole, you are never in danger. And if I let you in, even though my own authentic self is saying no to that, I am violating my own knowing and I am affirming your separation. So this is why this is so important to understand this. and to stay in your authenticity and to know yourself in your oneness, right? It's so important. Sanity is the recognition of oneness, not just for yourself, but for all things, right? It's the recognition of all things. That's the sanity, right? So just wanted to point that thing out. Livy, you're up next, and that you'll close us out.
Yes, I will. Thank you for this. It's been many, many years since I've. All right, there was a time that I was a musician and I was a songwriter, and the songs were coming through me. They weren't, they were just passing through me, and I was the deliverer of them. And then I got into the alcoholism and I got separate, and I thought that was something that was lost. And it's been recently that since I've been reclaiming the space and clearing out my dad's energy, I'm starting to hear the voice again that's authentic to this avatar. And that's been good to hear. And one thing that I'm noticing that I think especially these paragraphs are just like speaking to me. The ego uses shame.
Oh,
It has found a way that is my kryptonite. And boy, does it like to use that. And so I'm really, really grateful to get I don't have to choose that insanity. I don't have to, and it knows that it works. And it's like, oh, okay, we know how to get her to feel separate and to get her back. And so I'm real grateful I don't have to stay there anymore. And I name it now. I think it was somebody that we listened to that talked about name it. When you feel it coming, there's shame. There's judgment. And I have been using that, and it does seem to dissipate.
it's really important that you name it. It's a good thing to do. And for those who are familiar with the Hawkins scale of vibrational frequency, shame is like the lowest thing, the lowest vibration on that scale. Shame is about as close to non-existence as possible. Shame is really, really a low vibration. So it's important to name it and discard it. Yeah. And so thank you for that. This has been a great meeting. Folks can read paragraph 15 on your own, but next week we're going to start with the extending the gift of life. So that's on page 283, and Cindy will put that in her Monday email to everybody. Elizabeth, you joined an hour late, but we would love to have you next week. We start at 4. Otherwise, I'm sorry we missed
No
you.
problem. No problem. I was just trying, get into it. I was on a phone call, so I missed it. So I was trying to get started. I was checking out different meetings right now. So
Okay.
I
All right. Well,
appreciate
good.
that.
Glad to have you here. All right. So we'll see everybody tomorrow at 10 when we'll be doing our book club, our book group reading on the word resurrection. And we'll see you at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. Enjoy your evening, and I'll close us out with our closing invocation. And this is for you, Elizabeth. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, fire worshiper, lover of leaving. This is not a caravan of despair. It does not matter that you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Still come, and yet again. That's from Rumi. So go out there and break your vows and learn, have fun with that. And there's no you that's breaking any vow. It's all the absolute anyway. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you again soon. All right. Love us. Thank you. Mwah.